Hey, you want to see something cool? Anker SOLIX has different size solar generators like this big one, this little one, and even a medium-sized one that's coming out that pretty much fits any situation that you would need backup or portable power. And my absolute #1 favorite portable DC fridge is the Everfrost 2 from Anker SOLIX. I've had IceCo, I've had the Glaciers from EcoFlow, I've had a bunch of random branded name ones, and this one is truly my favorite, and I'm going to show you why this is my favorite and how you can use these different solar generators in this video. My name is Ben, this is the Minuteman Solar YouTube channel. Now before the AnkerSOLIX F3800 Plus came out, they had the predecessor, which was the F3800. The biggest difference between the older one and the new one was that this now has a dedicated RV 30 amp plug rather than just two 240 volt outlets. And the solar input is way better on the AnkerSOLIX F3800 Plus. But sometimes you don't need this much power, and that's where the C1000 comes in. This is light enough that you can take with you and have a lot of power on the go. This is good for like baseball games, soccer games, car camping, even tailgating. I wouldn't use this for something like an RV, it's probably too small for that. But possibly an overlanding setup, you could probably get away with something like this depending on what you need to run. AnkerSOLIX has a big sale going on for the Prime Day sales, and they always have coupons and stuff going on as well. So I'll have all my links for that down below. That way you can save money on any of these units that you like in this video. But starting off with the AnkerSOLIX F3800, this has a 6,000 watt pure sine wave inverter, meaning that you can run up to 6,000 watts or 6 kilowatts of non-stop continuous power to your whole house if you really needed to. And you can combine this with either a dual voltage hub, which will allow you to join two units together and then plug directly into your transfer switch. Just like the one that I have right here for any generator, I simply plug directly into that and I can backfeed power to my whole house. And they have a smart home panel that allows you to get automatic backup power if you're away traveling and want it to automatically turn on all on its own. Now, another thing that's really special about the AnkerSOLIX F3800 Plus that many other units don't have is the ability to charge from a gas generator and keep the 240 volt output going. But recharging a solar generator from a gas generator is actually more complicated than you'd think. You actually have to use what's called an inverter generator, which is a gas generator that creates clean energy or pure sine wave energy. Most common gas generators use what's called a modified sine wave, which is considered dirty energy. And if you put dirty energy into a solar generator, it can cause some complications. It's considered sensitive electronics, so that's why you need an inverter generator. But those cost more, and of course you're still dependent on doing oil changes, rotating the gasoline, and all of those issues. So the main idea is if you need to recharge the system because the solar is not enough for some reason, you can use the gas generator to recharge the whole system. And we'll just say that takes about an hour or two for a single unit like this, but this unit alone may give you 24 hours of runtime to run a refrigerator, a freezer, lights, Wi-Fi, fans, and your basic essentials. So you're trading 2 hours of gasoline runtime for 24 hours of battery runtime. That means that your gasoline is going to last you 12 times longer as a backup system to your solar generator. And the real beauty of this is that you don't have to get an inverter generator because the adapter that you use converts the AC power to DC power. Now, the majority of the time, it's not necessary to use a gas generator as a backup for the AnkerSOLIX F3800 Plus because of how much solar input there is. They do use a proprietary connector, which I'm not huge on proprietary connections, but it does adapt to a very common MC4 connection here. That way you can use, say, 4 400-watt solar panels to get 1,600 watts into each solar input. So just what I have right here in these 4 400-watt solar panels, these are mounted on the Minuteman Solar portable panel stand. You can find that at the website poweredportablesolar.com, which will soon be minutemansolar.com. But this allows you to take any rigid framed solar panel and make your own ground mount. There's no permits, there's no paperwork, there's no fees. You just simply attach the legs to the panels, anchor them to the ground, and now even in high wind situations, this thing isn't going anywhere. So I've actually discharged my AnkerSOLIX F3800 a little bit. That way we can connect these 4 solar panels directly to it and show you how well it charges. These are the solar conditions. There are some very light wispy clouds in front of the sun right now. Now this solar input can go all the way up to 165 volts, which is about 15 volts higher than a lot of other systems that usually go up to 150 volts. And then each one of these ports will do up to 17 amps. This is an extra breaker that I add in line, so that way I can turn off solar input if I ever need to. on my own right next to the system. So I'm currently only getting around 900 watts, which is a little bit over 50% of the total rated output of the solar panels. There are clouds in front of the sun, but I am surprised to see it down that low. So I can add a second solar input and double my total solar input, and if it's completely maxed out, I can get all the way up to 3200 watts of solar input. That means I'll be able to recharge the 3.84 kilowatt hour battery in here in a little over 1 hour. But when we go to soccer games and baseball games and outdoor events where we want to run something like a DC fridge or even like a fan or just portable equipment, the C1000 is a much better choice. This unit only has a 1000 watt inverter. It does have the cigarette lighter port for 12 volt power for powering something like a DC fridge if you don't have the battery in it. And the battery on this is just over 1000 watt hours as well. What really surprised me the first time I saw this was how many outlets were right on the front, and that this one stands apart from the rest. This is a special outlet right here called the surge pad. It allows you to get a little bit extra power out of it. But one of the unique things about this is you can only discharge up to 1000 watts unless you have it in UPS mode. The pass-through capability of this when plugged into a wall outlet is actually 1440 watts. So your outlets will get a 44% increase in output power by having pass-through power using a wall charger. So by simply plugging this into a wall outlet and then plugging other devices into this, you're going to be able to run 1440 watts without draining the battery. So we have a big 10-man tent that my kids often like to use and sleep outside with their friends in the yard. And this is a unit that we'll put out there because it's got enough plugs for all of their electronics that they like to have out there. Plus it has this nice amber light right here. I'm not usually huge on lights on solar generators, but in this case where I can use it camping, it actually is pretty helpful. And the amber color will attract less bugs to it, and that makes a big difference. I hate bugs flying around my face when I'm trying to use light at night. But what's even cooler about this is they do have expandable battery packs for the C1000. It's pretty rare that you see any type of expansion battery for a system that's so small like this. If you're outside playing music or anything like that, this will allow you to expand the battery capacity and run even longer, and 1000 watts is going to be plenty for running equipment like that. But smallest but not least, the C300 is a very portable, very lightweight solar generator. This one's really cool because it has this little slider on the front. So you can charge up to 140 watts with a USB-C cable into the front of this, or you can flip this over and use the solar port right here, which is the XT60 connection. You have just under 300 watt hours of battery capacity in this whole thing, and this thing is seriously small and easy to move around. The USB-C port here will also act as an output port when you're not charging it with the USB-C going in. What I did find interesting is that the light on here is actually more of a cool white light. In my experience, this will attract more bugs than an amber light, so be aware if you can use this outside, you're probably gonna have a few bugs flying around it. We're actually in the middle of selling our house, and it's crazy to think that because we've done so much solar here. But don't worry, I'll still have a lot of new solar and fun projects at the new house that I'm gonna bring you along with me as well. But that said, the way that we have our TV in our room set up is we have to use an extension cord that goes over our bathroom door frame and then down the wall to the nearest outlet, because there actually isn't an outlet on the wall where we have the TV in our bedroom. And since we don't want our house to look kind of ghetto when we're trying to sell it, we've actually been using this to power our TV at night. And it's actually kind of fun because I'll turn on the AC output remotely from my phone, and then that'll give us the power that we need to run the TV. And then I have this in the app set up to automatically turn off after we turn the TV off, so that way it stops draining power. That's a feature that's available with all of the AnkerSOLIX units, and it's all done with the app. In fact, if you see here, I'm gonna take the C1000 and connect it to the app, and you'll see just how fast and how easy it is to connect it to the app. And because I have the Wi-Fi connected to it, I can actually control it from anywhere in the world as long as the Wi-Fi is powered on. So by having my Starlink powered by something such as the AnkerSOLIX F3800 Plus, that means if power goes out, my Wi-Fi stays on and I can continue to control everything no matter where I am in the world. I mentioned at the beginning of the video that the Everfrost 2 is my favorite DC fridge. One of the reasons is because you can have up to 2 of these portable battery bricks that can go into the side here. Now I'm using the other spot to hold all of my charging cables. So I have a cigarette lighter charger in here, so if I'm in my truck, I can just plug it into that. Or as well, I have a wall charger adapter that all slides right into here. So if you end up getting a second battery, then you'll lose the extra storage compartment to hold all of these things. but it's pretty common that I can get at least 24 hours of runtime off of a single battery. I've gotten over 40 hours of nonstop runtime just keeping my food frozen on a road trip. And part of what makes this so special is this is the only fridge that I'm aware of that has this circulating fan inside. They call this frost flow, and what it means is that when you close the lid here and it's trying to do all of its cooling, it will move and circulate the air so that way you have better cooling more evenly around all of the food. And by having the wind chill factor of blowing the air around, it rapidly cools the whole chamber, therefore using the compressor less, and so it uses less energy overall to get better cooling. It also has a pop-up handle which also acts as a cutting board or an extra little counter space for storing your drinks or whatever you're working on. The big wheels are wide, going over grass and gravel. It's really easy to roll over that. The biggest gripe that I've had with my EverFrost 2 is that the handle is actually not long enough. Sometimes when I pick it up and I'm walking, it'll catch the back of my heel on my shoe, so I do have to keep that in mind as I'm walking with it. Other than that, I've had zero issues. There's also an accessories rail right here. I know they have attachments for like fishing poles and countertops, cutting boards, stuff like that. I didn't get any of those accessories, so you may want to check those out. As well, it comes with a built-in bottle opener. If you want to use this on the go with solar, it has a built-in solar input port, and it uses just a common XT60 connector, so that way you can connect something like a 100 watt or 200 watt solar panel and keep this charged up all day long while you're using it. I've taken mine on a few road trips already. I've used it once where I kept it inside of the cab of the truck. And then on a different trip where I went all the way from Idaho down to Colorado, I kept this outside in the truck bed while it was hot outside, and it still performed extremely well, keeping everything cool. Granted, it got a little dirty and a little beat up, but that's okay because this is hard plastic and it can take a beating. If you are gonna be using this in a van or something like that and you don't want it rolling around, it comes with these little plastic pieces. These actually slide underneath the wheel, so that way it doesn't want to roll around. When I first got these, I thought these were handles or something like that. Then I checked the user manual and it was pretty obvious this is just for the wheels to keep it from rolling. And by the way, we're around 1200 to 1300 watts of solar input now on the AnkerSOLIX F3800 Plus. AnkerSOLIX has had good pricing on their solar generators, especially the bigger ones, for quite a while, and I think they're gonna have even bigger deals going on right now. So make sure to click the links down below if you're interested in getting one. And if you want EMP protection, this smaller unit will fit inside of the Tech Protect large bag. The C1000 will fit in the extra large bag. And if you need really big protection, the F3800 Plus should fit in the double XL Faraday bag from techprotectbag.com. All of these units come with 5-year warranties, and their customer service has been really good for me so far. If you've had a different experience, please comment that down below. We want everybody to have their shared experiences, so that way we can all benefit from each other's knowledge. It seems that every time I call and have a complicated question, they're able to figure it out with me, and that I really appreciate. If you want to see more information about the portable solar panel stand that I made, you can see that video right here. But overall, AnkerSOLIX is a brand that is reliable, and I've not really had too many issues with their units, and their customer service always pulls through for me, and it's hard to put a price on that. Make sure to stay tuned for more units that are coming out, and if you have any questions, just shoot me an email to info@poweredportablesolar.com, which will soon be info@minutemansolar.com.